Welcome back once again, Vault Dwellers. As you can see from the title and from the screen where we are now, this is not one of my usual videos. We are actually not going to be taking a tour of any settlements today. Today is all about tutorials. Right now we are in my mod list. This is for PlayStation 4, in case you couldn't tell. I'm going to break this video down into a couple of different sections. We're going to start here with some of the mods that I have that I use for settlement building. Then we're actually going to go pick a site and we're going to do a little bit of building. I'm going to show you some techniques that I use, some tricks, and also showcase some of these mods. There's a bunch of hidden features in a lot of these that give you tons of stuff to work with, and we're going to go over some of that. I'm not going to go into great detail on every single mod that is here in my list, just simply to save time. Plus there's the fact that you can just go and read all the details yourself, and like I said, I'm going to showcase some of this stuff, and so let's go ahead and get started. Spectacle Island cleanup, simple basic idea of those types of things is it's not going to modify the land, it's just going to clean up debris, garbage, stuff like that. You also have other modifications called clean and smooth. Those do the same thing, except they also smooth out the land. So if you have a bunch of high spots, low spots, it kind of smooths it all out so that they're all very subtle. Sometimes I use those. Most of the time I just either go for a cleanup or I go for actual mods that do that allow me to do all the scrapping myself. Place everything is very handy. We'll take a quick look at this one here. This adds a bunch of extra stuff, basically all vanilla assets, so on and so forth, that gives you more items that you can place all around your settlements. Sanctuary cleanup, same as Spectacle Island. The colored workshop lights, I love this one. I just wish the lights looked a little bit different, but having those colored lights has definitely been a lot of fun and added some extra pizzazz to a lot of my builds. Now scrap, and there's another one called STS, which is scrap that settlement. Those are the two biggest ones that I use the most for removing junk. This is what allows me to scrap stuff that normally you couldn't scrap with just the normal regular build menu. You could even scrap out entire buildings. Don't expect to go down to someplace like, say, Hangman's Alley and get rid of all the buildings around there. No, you can't do stuff like that. But if you've seen my Egret Tours Marina video, there was one building I was actually able to scrap, the one in the corner, and it gave me the option to scrap the entire building. I wasn't planning on doing that. I was trying to rebuild it and it just wasn't working, and then I accidentally scrapped it, and by that time it was a long time before I had saved, so I decided to just say forget it and go ahead and build a new one from scratch. But say if you're in Sanctuary, this will also help you to scrap like the entire houses there and get yourself basically one big giant wide open clean area to work with. Extremely handy. Spawn settlers. This is a fun little mod. You basically throw a grenade and it'll spawn a settler, and then you can assign them to wherever you want. This comes in very handy for filling up your settlements without having to wait for the settlement signals to attract people. Just be careful though, there are limitations as to how many settlers you can have. You can increase that, but your game's going to become unstable. That's why Sanctuary crashes on me. One of the many reasons why Sanctuary crashes on me so often is because I have too many settlers. I've actually gone back the last couple of times and trying to send them elsewhere. It's become more stable, but definitely be careful with that one. The unofficial Fallout 4 patch. I know a lot of you guys complain about being down in Boston and the game crashing all the time. This might help you. I've never had that problem before or after putting the patch in there. Nothing to really do with settlement buildings. We're just going to move on. Clean and simple Sanctuary startup. pretty much self-explanatory. Posts and supports, you can figure that one out. Quappa, there's another one, Swappa. Just go read the descriptions. I installed them; they didn't work the way I wanted them to, so I'm not 100% familiar with them. Craft your own robots. Auto closing doors. So you guys seem to really love these. Very handy, as you know. NPCs love to just open doors, walk through them, and the doors never ever close. I find that to be extremely annoying, so with this mod they will close all on their own. Very, very handy for keeping your settlement looking the way you want it to. So all settlements extended. I love this one. This is a new mod that I just started using, or new to me anyway, that I just started using a few months ago. This extends the size of just about every single settlement, not just sideways but also up. If you are looking to build upwards, this is definitely worth checking out. I don't know what the limitations are as to height-wise, but it's pretty darn high. I've used my little jetpack to try and test the limits on height on a lot of places, and you can just keep going and going and going. Just be careful though, as with any mod, if you really go beyond the borders of building way high, you could probably end up glitching your game. But it does, like I said, extend out the borders, and sometimes it'll look like it hasn't because you'll still see like that transparent green wall, but you can actually walk past it, which kind of gets annoying because then you don't know exactly how far you can go until you see the auto closing thing pop up. But definitely worthwhile. Cleanups, we can ignore those. Workshop decorations, excellent for having filled shelves filled with stuff. Makes life a lot easier than trying to pick up and place all the kinds of individual things. Luminous, this makes lights brighter and makes their light cast out much farther than the vanilla lights do. Just be careful though, you're going to get a lot of bleed through on your walls where the sections meet, etc. So sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Place anywhere tool, love this guy. Just like the name sounds, you get basically a post and you put it near an object that you want to place somewhere. Say like you're trying to get two walls together, like concrete walls from Covenant. Sorry, couldn't remember the name. As you know, when you're trying to make walls using those concrete walls, they just never ever line up because of any height difference in the ground. That little guy will definitely help you out there. Clean and smooth. No build limits. This, as the title says, removes the build limit so that no matter how much you build, that little size bar never ever grows. Be careful with that because they do have the size limits for a reason. If you go too far, your game will be very unstable. That's where you should also be scrapping stuff quite often as you're building. Stealth ring, just ignore that, ignore that. Fast travel from anywhere. Has nothing to do with anything, but that'll allow you to fast travel while you're inside buildings. Comes in handy. Craftable fuse boxes. Now these are awesome. Instead of having to build noisy generators, you can build these guys, and they give off power as if they are generators. They're silent, they're easy to place just about anywhere. I use them all the time. Every time I'm doing a video, if you look around, you will see these guys everywhere. Let's see. Unrestricted settlements, that can come in handy. If you notice in some locations you can't always use every single item that you normally would want to use. This removes all those restrictions so that at any given location you could use any items you want to build whatever you want. Skip over that. USO, really, really good. This gives you more access to vanilla content, a whole bunch of different things. Really great for building. I'm not going to go into great detail on it because there's the main part of it, and then there's all the stuff for DLCs, so on and so forth. So go ahead and check it out yourself. Custom vanilla assets. If you saw my video where I tried to add water, this is the one that has the water in it. Definitely worth checking out. Castle revamp. Skip over that. Just basic textures, so on and so forth. The jetpack mod, this comes in very handy. Does not use any action points. If you notice in my videos, I usually fly up high so you can get a view of the entire place. That's kind of what I use, is these jetpack mods. You got that one and this one here for longer flight, as well as using no action points. It's not going to give you a jetpack, you still have to build it yourself, but that's how you do it. These are just texture packs. The rocket ring, this thing is awesome, so you don't need a jetpack. You can be wearing any armor of any type. Couple that with the jetpack mods, and boom, you can fly as much as you want. That's the two that I always use. That's why whenever you see me land, I'm not making the big giant kaboom from the power armor. We can skip over that. Cheat room. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what does this have to do with anything? The cheat room is awesome. Inside this cheat room, you have access to all kinds of fun weapons, but more importantly, you have access to all the building materials, and I'm talking about thousands and thousands of each material. This is how I'm able to build as much as I am. I just go in and go into like literally one box, and you can see thousands of like everything. Take that whole box, bring it with you and put it in the workshop, and boom, you're good to go for a long time. Little tip with this, it's probably better to put all of that material into a site that you're not working at and then run a supply line, because all that material does kind of add to the inventory of your local site there, and it can also cause the game to be kind of buggy, frame rate drops, sometimes even crashing. So go to a place where you're not going to build, or you've already built, drop all your stuff there, and then run a supply line. Cheat room, that's just added extra stuff for the DLCs. You can check that one out yourself. That's pre-war sanctuary if you want it to look like it did before the war. Settlement heights, this will just increase your height, not the width. I don't even think I have either one of these active at the moment, just because the other one's active. More texture packs, more cheat room added stuff. Let's see. This will increase the size of your conduits. So if you're running power and you don't want to put a conduit like literally every 5 feet, this will increase the radius as to how far out items can be powered off them. Comes in quite handy. Clean and smooth, we can ignore that. Here's STS, this is Scrap That Settlement. This is the one that works with the other one. They're from two different people, but both of them working together have been phenomenal in helping me to get rid of all the junk that I don't want there. That's a fun weapon, get that. Let's see, that is also a fun weapon, get that. And some more texture packs, more vanilla content that allows you to get access to different items for building, basically. Let's see. Freemaker, not really relevant. And there you go. That's pretty much, those are the mods that I use all the time for building my settlements. Definitely go check a lot of them out if you're trying to get the similar results as me. The cheat room, like I said, that one comes in super handy. We're actually going to go check that out in a few minutes, just so you can see what I'm talking about. But there you go. So that's part one of the video. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so as you can see, we are in what looks like a vault. This is actually the inside of the cheat room. You have all these different doors that give you access to all kinds of different sections. This actually will lead you out. But we're most interested in what's down this way. As I mentioned, the cheat room gives you access to all types of building material. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. So right here in this door, you have all these little foot lockers. And inside each one is scrap, tons and tons of scrap. And as you can see, all of them have the same amount of, 6,500, etc., or is it 65,000, whatever. Anyway, but tons, and it refills every once in a while, so there's no way you could ever use all of it. Just make sure that when you come to try and take it, that you have another mod that gives you no carry weight, basically, or unlimited carry weight, because you'll never get out of here if you try to take all of one of these bins in one shot. I happen to have that, so if I go ahead and do a take all, doesn't affect me in any kind of way. A little bit of advice, don't mess with these guys. There's a couple of these Protectrons in here. They are extremely hard to kill, so do not mess with them. The cat, however, doesn't matter. You can kill that thing as many times as you want, but don't mess with the robots. But yeah, this is basically the cheat room. You also have weapons and all kinds of stuff, clothing, armor. None of that's really relevant to building, but it's definitely worth checking out. A lot of fun stuff in here. Some really crazy weapons, which we will demonstrate a little later on when we have a little fun. Okay, so now we're at an actual settlement. As you recognize, this is Abernathy Farm. As you can see, we have quite a bit of space here to work with, a bit more than you would normally see in the regular vanilla game without the mods. That's part of the Settlement Extended. Not only gives you, lengthwise, but height-wise. Just to give you an idea, let's go ahead and go up. And as you can see, we can just keep going and going and going, and still haven't gotten that message yet as to being outside of the buildable area. So, I mean, if you look down, we're up quite high, and we're still going. So, if you really wanted to, you could build, a fairly tall skyscraper. There you go. Now I finally reached the limitation of that. So, I'm going to assume the height is maybe somewhere around like 9,000-ish, if not more. As you can see here, I can basically scrap everything. I'm not sure if you can do that in a vanilla game. I've never messed with scrapping too much stuff around here at Abernathy. I've never built here that often. But, go up here, as you can see, I can highlight the antenna here. And, boom, I can scrap that if I wanted to. Of course, I'm not going to save because now it looks funny and we have all this kind of stuff just floating around in the middle of the air. So keep that in mind when doing that kind of stuff. Just be careful what you do want to scrap and what you don't. And look at what's also attached to it and as to whether or not you can get to it. Because now we have power lines just kind of floating in the middle of the air there. So, let's see. Up here in Special we have the Place Anywhere tool. So we're going to go ahead and put that right there. Now if I click on it and then get out of it, it's going to give me the option to activate it. So now I'm going to activate it. But as you can see, nothing's going on. But once I click on it once more, now I can pick this up and I can do just about anything with it. These are kind of a bad example as to what you can do with it. But as you can see, it looks kind of a little different. Can't exactly put it in there. So, okay, that's a terrible example. So let's go ahead and build a structure of some sort here. Let's see, a prefab. I don't know if I can make one of these work. These are always kind of iffy. So, alright, here's a smaller section. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy, not that guy. Alright, there we go. Now we got the post, so we're going to go ahead and put it roughly into it. Sometimes you can put it into it, sometimes you just have to be very close to it. And then you can go ahead and see, now I can bleed this into the ground if I wanted to. Really just about almost completely all the way if I wanted to. I could also put it inside of other things. Now you got to be careful with that too. I've done things where I've tried to put a floor texture through a solid object. It was a support beam over at the drive-in, and it caused my game to crash several times every time I tried to do it. So just be careful. And if you're doing something like this into the ground, not that big a deal. It's not going to cause any kinds of crashing, but that does come in super, super handy. Let's see, floors. Now these different sections of floors all come with some of those mods that I showcased that give you different types of access to different things. But most importantly, we have carpeted floors here. And if we keep looking, we also have these guys. I use these guys all the time. There is some brick. We have marble. My stone floors that I use quite often in a lot of my builds because they're just really, really nice looking. These come in super, super handy, and they only count as wood. They will actually show up as stone foundation, but anytime you take something out of your inventory, it's basically just considered wood. Let's see, wood floors, walls, different textures. I use some of these in one of my upcoming builds that you're going to see in my next video. These do not snap, so that's where the Place Anywhere tool comes in handy. So we're going to take that guy, and we're going to put him here. Then we're going to activate it. Then I can take this wall, and I can get it just about perfect. And then I can do the same, continue on with the next one, and the next one, and the next one to make them not only look good, but also you can actually bleed them into each other a little bit so that they fit perfectly, so you can get some really nice little houses there. Same thing with these brick walls. Though I think some of these might, these actually do snap. The only downside is there's no windows with those. But yeah, all different types of textures. I have two different sets of menus here. That's because of USO. These are the auto closing doors. As I was saying in the thing, your NPCs will be opening them, and now they will auto close. Furniture, let's see if I can get into this. We might get some hanging up here just because of the modifications that I have in here. Like, yeah, here we go. It's going to hang up for a second, just simply because it's loading a ton and ton of stuff right now in the menu. These are all the pre-filled shelves that I was talking about. So as you can see, we have clothing, we have food, liquor, all kinds of stuff, weapon, books. Like I said, they come in super handy with trying to add decorations without having too much, spend a lot of time, putting all kinds of stuff in there. These come in handy for filling up your desks. However, if you try to put them on a desk, they don't really work. So that's where the Place Anywhere tool again will come in handy. Just put it right there in the middle. So we're going to activate it. Now I can take it. Now I can put it, if I had a desk right here, I could put it on my desk. But right now we're just going to leave it floating in the air. Why not? So there's that. Decorations, you're going to get all kinds of new extra stuff that comes in with the mods that I showcased. So I mentioned I have two separate menus. So here's the USO version that kind of condenses things and also separates things. So now if I go into bedding, I have functional, whereas ones that are dummies, that are just simply for decoration, so on and so forth. We don't need to look at every single one of them. Concrete. This is one of the modifications I was talking about with textures. I use this a lot with the walls because now I have brick walls with windows and same curved ones, two different sizes now, so on and so forth. Those come in super, super handy. With diversifying while still using concrete, which seems to be one of the best building materials. Let's see, what else did I want to show you all? Fences. Now we have all kinds of junk fences, retextured ones so that they have different appearances to them, different colors, the big ones and the small ones. Same thing with the gates. You can actually see that we have the different factions flags on the gates there. That's a little fun, and different colors depending on what kind of color mood you're into. Access to all the different types of fences and colors. As you can see, all these new textures really, really come in handy. For those of you that are interested in military builds, you now have access to all the different military fences, including those badass ones there, and all different types of big platforms. So if we put this guy here, now we've got the basis for starting off with kind of a walkway. But as you can see, it doesn't quite fit into the ground there, so we're going to go ahead and use our Place Anywhere tool again. Let's go ahead and activate that. Now we can get it to look like it should look. So I don't know why the game can't do things like that right off the bat. It's one of the things that I've always hated about being able to place certain things, is that it's just annoying when you have different heights in the ground and it won't let you just kind of bleed them into certain degrees to make things look the way that they should be looking. But you have all these different walkway sections here. I've seen somebody do a build where they took a whole bunch of these guys here. Let me see if I can find them. There you go. And link them all together, and then using the Place Anywhere tool, you can actually get these much closer to each other. And let's put it over here. And we'll back up a little bit so we can actually see what we're doing. See, now I can actually like almost put these, I can actually put these inside each other if I really wanted to. But yeah, this way you can actually get them lined up better and looking like they're supposed to. We still have a gap because I'm not really trying, but you get the basic idea. For those of you, like I said, that are trying to do a military build, this is going to definitely come in handy for you. Covenant walls, these are the ones I was talking about before. So let's go ahead and show this. If I try to put these next to each other, now look, they don't really line up and you can only get them so close to each other. So we'll go ahead and put this one here. Grab our handy place anywhere tool. We're going to activate that bad boy. And now I can line them up and push them into each other to get practically a seamless appearance there. And so now, boom, there you go. You got your full sanctuary walls. Now, keep in mind too, or not sanctuary, covenant walls. Keep in mind too that with, you know, if you look at the gradient of the ground, this just keeps going up and up and up. If you try to continue going this, you're going to end up with this running directly into the ground. So there's going to be certain sections where you might want to just, after all, just say, you know, forget it and leave one higher than the other, but maybe bleed them into it. That's kind of what I'm doing in a build that I'm doing right now, which you'll see in my next video. So, again, we have access to all different types of stuff. I'm not going to touch on every single one of them. Vehicles, if you've seen some of my others, other videos, I do kind of put cars in them every once in a while, and so on and so forth. Pre-war buildings. I've used some of the bunkers and some of these things before. All kinds of extra goodies. Decorations. I do like the way that this is all separated here, because now you have everything broken down into categories, including, you know, things like burning barrels, campfires, so on and so forth. Your TV terminals. Now, statues and fountains. If you've seen some of my videos where I have like actual people and so on and so forth, and posable people in power armor, that's where these guys come from. I've used a lot of these in some of my recent videos, and they actually look really, really neat. This is one I just use with my Vault 88 build, so that definitely comes in handy. More spikes, so on and so forth. And so there you go. This is some of the basic extra building stuff that you're going to get. I had somebody ask me where I got my trees from, so now boom, here we go. We've got a full-size tree. It can be a little wonky building with these, so we'll go ahead and stick that guy right there, and now we've got a tree. So if we want to go ahead and build a tree fort, treehouse, as I've showcased in one of my other videos, let's go ahead and show you how I do that. So the first thing we need to do, get yourself a set of stairs. You can build this up as high as you wanted to. If I wanted to go up, say, 2 levels before I start building, you could do that, or you can just go ahead and go straight from here. So we'll go ahead and take a wood floor and just connect these up in the air. And just build directly around them. Now, if you start to see your design, let's see, let's move this guy right there. Now, boom, he's right on top of it. So I'll go ahead and put some more floor in. And we don't really need the stairs, so we'll go ahead and save that for later. And there we go. So now you've got your basic floor. Now, of course, you got all this gap in here, so we'll go ahead and fill in that gap. Now, one thing you can do, again, with the Place Anywhere tool, let's grab that guy here, and let's attach it to the tree. Oops. Alright, there we go. Now he's active. So now we'll go ahead and take him, and now I can actually move the tree into the floor. So that's one way that you can get a nice little seamless integration, so it looks like you actually really built it right into it. And let's see, there you go. Now we can finish it, and boom, you got it all closed off. And you could also do the same with the roof. So here's a little helpful hint for you on how to do basic tree houses. I'd never really considered doing them up until recently and started having a lot of fun with them. Alright, so now as you can see we have our borders here, and so when I'm typically building a settlement, I usually like to start from the outside in. Regardless of what I'm building, what I'm going to be doing, I like to work from the borders and work my way in, so that way I can create like a wall or a fence, something to kind of give me an idea of what space I have to work with. That's just the way that my brain works. I like to create my entire border first. So let's see, let's get this all the way to the very edge and then bring it in just a little bit. And so I'll go ahead and I will just build a wall completely around almost every settlement that I make. And then this will give me an idea of, you know, where I can put things. Like, for example, I wouldn't keep an entrance here. I would try to find some place that looks like it has a path leading into to make my entrance. Let's go ahead and scrap that tree, because actually right there kind of looks like a natural entryway. So I might take something like that and place my gate there, and then to make it look a little better, we can use our place anywhere tool. Activate that, bring that down level, and there you go. And so that looks kind of like a natural walkway where somebody might come up and find your gate in order to get into your community. That's more or less what I usually start with, is finding that one spot that looks like it's a natural entryway. Sometimes there might even be several, in which case I will put gates all around the entire walkway. Like I might put another one here, maybe one on each side. It really just also always depends on the layout of the settlements. They're all a little different, but that is what I start with. Find an entryway, dead guy, find an entryway, and then start building my walls all around it. Sometimes I'll use junk walls, sometimes I will use, if you've seen my sanctuary video, I'll go into the wood floors here with the stone textures that I was showcasing before. I will use these to build walls. So, because now we've got what looks like nice handmade stone wall, and now as you can see I've run into where this is no longer effective. So we'll go ahead, I actually have to go all the way over to this menu just because of the USO mod has divided my wood section, or wood building materials. So now if I want to get to my steps after I've been building these, I have to do that. And then unfortunately I got to go all the way back over to here, and now I can get my textures and line it up with that, and boom, now I've got my next layer to build my wall around my settlement. And so this is what I used to use all the time, just building these until I finally got different mods that allowed me to modify the junk fences to make them look a little better and line them up, as well as like the Covenant ones. But as you can see, coming in from the outside here, now you've got this nice big stone wall that will eventually surround the entire place. And so that's what I'll do, is I'll use that to make my perimeter. Depending on how OCD you are, you can make these all face one particular direction, or leave them random. I usually end up going lengthways like this because it looks more natural, at least to me anyway. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you, those fuse box generators that I was talking about. As you can see, this one produces 100 electric, this one produces 500. You just basically put it there, give yourself a little conduit, stick it there, and now I've got electricity. So if I were to put some lights in here, I can show some of these colored lights here. Here's a blue one, green, pink, orange, so on and so forth. This one also comes in very handy. This is just very bright white. But there you go. That's your generator now. That produces 500 electricity. So let's see, what else do we have? Defense. We get access to a whole new slew of things here. That's always been there, so on and so forth. You have NPCs. I can also craft NPCs if I wanted to. Animals. You actually have to have the things like this one you would need a carrot for. I can make a cat. Boom. There you go. Now I've got a cat in my settlement. And people. And children, guards. Guards, this actually comes in quite handy. You have all different types of guards that you can use. Brotherhood of Steel, Children of the Atom, so on and so forth. Just random, whole bunch of different guys. Let's see which one. You can throw a gunner in here, and he will also count as a person. You can't really interact with them, but they just basically stand guard, and wherever you put them, that's where they're going to stand guard. So you can actually pick them up and move them if you're not happy with where you place them. Alright, so now I'm going to show you my little grenade guy here. Boom, there you go. Now I've just created a settler. Now you have to go back into your workshop and assign him, otherwise he's just going to kind of wander around and you can't assign him to anything because he's not actually part of your settlement. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're creating them. Yeah. And again, you can just keep throwing and making as many as you want, but like I said, you got to watch out for your limitations. Too many settlers and you're going to have too many people running around and it's going to cause your game to lag and eventually crash. So just kind of be careful with it. If you end up with too many of them, you know, you can just kill them. They're not important. So that takes care of them. So let's see. Now I wanted to show you guys some of the weapons that is in that cheat room. So let's see. We have the cheat Tesla rifle. This has overkill power. That's a fun little guy there. Let's see. Continue. What do we got? Who doesn't want a minigun that shoots nukes? Exactly. What the? That is a fun mod. I have a lot of fun with that guy there. Let's go ahead and blow up Abernathy. Now you gotta be careful, as you can see. It creates quite a bit of lag if you use too much of it there. I use this one more often because it doesn't have as much damage radius. But the same basic idea. Now we can shoot missiles. And there's no ammo count to that, so you can just go crazy with it if you really wanted to. Let's see. Most of these you've probably seen. The cheap alien blasters, the basic regular alien blaster, except way overpowered. Just fun stuff to mess around with. A lot of that you can find in there. The Nuka Gauss rifle. A little more precision than the minigun version of it. Nuka Gauss triple shot. That shoots 3 at once. The Nuke launcher. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen this one before. This is a fun little guy. It's a nice little blue explosion there. And so there you go. A lot of different crazy, funky, fun weapons in there. There's the cheap Gauss rifle. Now this looks just like the regular one. It fires just like the regular one. Except there's no count. Like if you push and hold the trigger button, it's not going to count upwards for a bigger blast. It's just an overpowered one that'll kill anything in this game with just one shot. So there you have it. That's some of my building tutorial there, showcasing you some of these tools, and a little how-to on how to do something like a treehouse here and make it bleed seamlessly, and also have some weapons to just kind of go crazy with. There you go. One shot, one kill. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you have any other questions, things you want to see, please leave some comments below, and if need be, I can do a second video. Until then, don't get irradiated.